So there's going to be a little bit of change to how I do my recent reads videos. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Charles from the channel Books on Stereo, and yes, you heard that right. There is going to be a change to how I do these types of videos. So if you guys don't know, I read a lot. I read a ton of books, and I was just thinking, why am I wasting energy and time talking about books that I didn't love when I could just talk about books that I really do love? And also this video can serve as almost like a recommendation style type video as well, because these are books that I loved and I think you guys will love as well. So let me know down in the description box down below if you like this idea or you hate this idea, but for me, this feels right and this feels like the right move. Instead of talking about 100 books in one video, let me just talk about the books that I actually really do love. Without further ado, let's get into the books. So up first, I have Daphne the Duke by Sarah MacLean, and this is book 3 in the Bare Knuckle Bastards trilogy. So essentially, this is a second chance romance between Grace and Ewan. When they were kids, Ewan betrayed Grace for reasons that you have to read the book to find out. You fast forward like 20-30 years later, and Grace has spent pretty much her whole life on the run from Ewan until one day she thinks she is free of Ewan, and then he reappears back in her life. And Ewan is not going anywhere because he wants to make her his Duchess. And that's our story in this one. I absolutely love this one. This one has an excellent grovel. I do think you have to read books 1 and 2 to really appreciate this book, but I think this book stands alone quite well. And if you really like a really good grovel, this book is definitely one that you have to pick up. Up next, I have our Wicked Marquess by Stacey Reid. So in this book, we follow our simple wallflower character, Mary Ann, and she is set to marry like this horrible dude. So she's trying to find her way to get out of marrying this dude. And then in comes our Marquess, who is named Nicholas, and he is seen climbing out of one of the rooms at a house party. So Mary Ann decides to say that the room that he came out of and climbed down the trellis, or whatever you want to call it, was actually her bedchamber, which ruins her reputation and thus saves her from getting married to the horrible guy. But the twist is that even though Mary Ann has obviously fabricated this story, the Marquess wants to collect his due on the lie. And that's the start of our romance. Now, I don't think you have to read book 1 to really enjoy this book. This book pretty much stands alone. You are introduced to this character in the first book, but there isn't too much crossover between the two books. But I absolutely love this one. The character development was absolutely amazing. The romance was on point. This one was a pretty steamy read. It was definitely steamier than the first book, My Darling Duke. And I do have to warn you, as a trigger warning, there is sexual assault in this book. So if that is triggering for you, I would definitely be wary of going into this book. But overall, this was an absolutely excellent romance. And if you guys haven't read Stacey Reid, you need to get her on your radar ASAP. Then up next, I have Anything Once by Mika James. So in this book, we follow our main heroine, Quinn. She has been married to her husband for a very long time when she starts to realize that she may not be fulfilling her husband's sexual desires because she finds him watching porn. So in an attempt to resurrect their marriage, she decides to basically try anything that is in some of his favorite porn videos at least once. And that's the premise for this romance. It is absolutely amazing. I love this. Oh, so steamy. I will have to say, as a trigger warning, the author does include this in the beginning of the book, so this is not a spoiler, is that this couple also deals with infertility issues on the husband's character. So if that is triggering for you, definitely be wary about going into this book. But other than that, this was an absolutely fun, really steamy, really quick read, and I absolutely enjoyed this one. Then up next, I have Just One More by Jodie Slaughter, and this is a Valentine's Day romance novella. And in this book, we follow our two main characters, Whitney, who is a tattoo artist, and Victor, who is a barber. And they have this really cute meet cute in an Uber, and that kind of leads them to going home together, and then boom, that's the start of our romance. So not too much of a setup in this one, but I absolutely love this one. The theme was on point, the characters were on point, and for this being so short, you really get a really fully fleshed out story, which I really appreciated. And yes, I absolutely love this one. So then up next, I have Love Bug by Erin Mallon, and this is book 2 in the Natural History series. And in this book, we follow our main character, Mabel. She was introduced in the first book, which is called Flirtosaurus. And Mabel is an entomologist. She basically studies bugs. And she's working at this kind of campground for the summer, and she kind of strikes up a little fling with a groundskeeper, and it's their romance. I absolutely love this one. I definitely suggest that you check out the audio for this one because the audio is so great, and Erin Mallon herself actually narrates the audiobook. This is like if you really want a really quick, sweet rom-com that's also really funny, this is definitely one that you have to put on your radar because I absolutely love this book. Then up next I have Totally Trucked by BJ Blackley, and this is a new to me author. This author writes romances, and this is a romance between two characters who meet at a glory hole, and it's their romance. And so the reason why it's called Totally Trucked is that one is a trucker, and then our other character actually works at the diner at a truck stop. And they meet through a glory hole. I'm not going to explain to you what that is. You can look that up on your own. This one is super steamy. I absolutely love this one. It's not too long of a read, but it reads really quickly. And this is a really great debut novel. I can't wait to see what this author puts out next. And yeah, I just really love this book. Up next, I have another Jodie Slaughter book, and this is All Things Burn. And in this book, our main heroine is kind of dealing with a stalker who is basically threatening violence on her and her family. So she decides to take matters into her own hands and hires a hitman to take out the stalker. Now, this one is a dark romance, so I will have to warn you about that. But I really love this one, how you actually see how the violence actually affects the characters and their relationship. There are quite a few missteps here and there, but overall this is an absolutely excellent debut novel. And if you like Shonda Rhimes, any type of shows like Scandal or How to Get Away with Murder, you would definitely love this book. The theme is on point, the story is on point, the characters are on point. I really ended up loving this one. Then up next I have My Darling Duke by Stacey Reed, and this is the first book in the Sinful Wallflower series. And in this book we follow Kitty, who is one of our Sinful Wallflowers, and she basically has been passed over season after season, and in order to help her sister's prospects in the marriage market, she decides to concoct a story where she is married to this like very estranged Duke. And the Duke catches wind of this and basically takes her to his mansion because he is interested in her. And that's basically our setup for this one. I absolutely love this one as well. This one is a little bit of a slow burn. It definitely takes a while to get to like the steam, but once you get there, it really does land. The characters are amazing. The relationship is actually really beautiful. And this also has a hero who is basically impotent until he meets the heroine. So I know, right? Crazy. Up next, I have My Best Friend Stalker by Jessica Kane, and this is a stalker romance. There isn't too much to say about this one. It was quick, it was fun. This was a novella. Really love the theme in this one, and I really kind of like this like whole stalker-ish romance trope. And I definitely am looking forward to reading more by this author and more within that trope. So if you have recommendations, let me know down in the comment section down below. Okay, now when you see this cover, you're going to say this looks absolutely crazy, and it is Baseball and Bondage by Keegan Kennedy, but this is a really steamy college baseball BDSM romance. Oh my goodness, this one is so incredibly steamy. If you are a newbie to romance, I definitely would not suggest picking this one up, but if you're seasoned, if you like the dark stuff, if you like your steam, definitely give this one a try. The cover is horrible, but trust me, this book hits hard. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know down in the comment section down below if you have read any of these books and if you have loved any of these books. And I'll catch you guys with a brand new video. Peace.